It is on Football for Fun, yeah.
Yeah, it should be. It'd be even funnier if it was on both, though. I mean, so that's a big win for
That would
us.
be that would be totally
Yeah. All right. Well, we've been live for 12 seconds now. Apparently, that went by pretty fast.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do see that. Awesome.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, we ready? Let me just look through my power rankings one more time. I mean, I feel like there'll be some that like people are like unhappy with. I mean, I think they're reasonable, but it's just gonna be difficult to like justify every single one.
And an
But
FYI to anyone watching, I've not seen his rankings at all. I have no clue what I'm about to witness, so I'm as surprised as you are for everything we see.
yes. All right. Well, shall we get started?
Absolutely, we shall.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Football for Fun. I am Depressed, the Texans fan.
I am delusional, the Panthers fan, and boy, my team better be in the top four here, Daniel, or I will riot. Okay, I will cancel you if my team is not
Did
in
you
the
say
top
top
four.
top 40? Because I can
No,
definitely
four,
fulfill
top
that.
four, top four,
Four.
and that
Oh, well,
top
I don't
tier
know
right
about
there.
that.
Okay, 1 through 4, we deserve to be in the top four. I don't even care where. We can be four.
I need you, not only that, I need you to make like 4 Panthers logos and just put Panthers, 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 Panthers. But anyway, this is going to be a power ranking special. These are going to be my power rankings, who I believe to be the best teams in the NFL, 1 through 32. Didn't spend a whole lot of time on this, but you know, that's part of the fun of it. You just like make rankings, then just kind of like take it as you go, right?
Oh yeah. So I did not help with his rankings at all. I've not even seen them yet. I'm gonna see them as we go through this tonight. I've done my own rankings. I wasn't really here to make the video about them, but we have a video out somewhere if you want to see them. Mine are probably even more chaotic than what we're about to witness because I have Carolina too high. Anyway, though, I have nothing to do with these, but I will be reacting to them. So this is going to be very, very interesting.
It will be very interesting to react to the power rankings. All right, well, shall we just go ahead and get started?
Yeah, so we have our 5 tiers here. They're not really tiers, I guess. It's really just how we have them set up. We have the top four set apart, 1 through 4. We have 5 through 11, 12 through 18, 19 through 25, and 26 through 32, which is not where you want to be. So I figure we'll start. Do you want to start at 32 and work our way down?
Yeah, I think it obviously makes more sense. Yeah, start from 32 to like just go, just like go worst to first, essentially.
Okay, worst to first, everybody.
Yes, worst to first. At number 32, it was actually kind of debatable between like 2 teams, and you could even like maybe throw in more teams in the mix. Obviously, last year the worst team in the league, well, worst were the Titans, but I don't think they were actually the worst team. But my worst team, and I think we both agree on this, the New Orleans Saints. Quite simply,
Bravo,
I just like don't know. Like,
that's good.
Tyler Shuck is your quarterback, like seriously. And like I get they have good players like Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave, but just like I don't know, they just seem like a hot mess. No one wanted to be the coach in New Orleans. They had to settle for Kellen Moore. And yeah, not a lot of great things I can say about New Orleans. I think they will be serious contenders for the number 1 overall pick, and we'll see. I mean, we'll see if Arch Manning, 1, if he declares, and 2, if he even is a 1 overall pick. I think that's probably a little bit overhyped, but the New Orleans Saints are my 32nd best team. So I mean, congratulations.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Yeah, like you said, they're so bad. No one even wanted to coach them. They're probably going to be so bad that Arch Manning decides to stay in college next year. So I can't imagine the Saints are in for a good season. Probably 0-17. Okay, I'm biased, but they probably going to be bad. You mentioned Tyler Shuck is their quarterback. Dude, I don't even know if that's the case. I've heard Spencer Rattler might beat him out for that job, which would just be kind of sad. Second-round rookie losing the job to Spencer Rattler is not ideal. Not a good start to his career, but that's where the Saints are right now. Their best player on offense is probably Alvin Kamara, and he's like, 40 in running back years? So Saints are in for a rough go this season. I agree putting them at 32. Good call.
Yep. Very good call on my end, I would like to say. Okay, now at number 31, I think another team that's probably not the greatest, although I do think they have some talent and they were good recently, but I think right now they're a dumpster fire. They have a bunch of quarterbacks on the roster. That would be the Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns at 31. Okay.
Yeah, one might argue that like maybe they're a little bit they're talented enough to be a little bit higher, but honestly, like again, they don't really have. I mean, maybe if you start Joe Flacco all the games, that could be like something to where they could be a little bit better. But honestly, like they don't have any receivers. I feel like a lot of their defense has like been hurt or like things like that, and I just don't think they're in for a very good season.
I mean, I think somebody once said if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. In Cleveland's case, they have, what, four? And that doesn't even include Predator Watson. So,
Right.
yeah, Cleveland is in for a rough go again. I feel bad for Kevin Stefanski. He's probably one of the best coaches in the league, but he's probably also going to get fired by Cleveland at some point because someone's got to be the scapegoat, right? So, sucky situation there.
That is true. Yeah, I mean, we'll see if like Stefanski can somehow turn around, or like which rookie quarterback will they start first is actually kind of an intriguing headline. Because like you would think the higher draft pick would get the first start, but obviously,
Shedeur
right?
Sanders has been taken under the wing of Deshaun Watson, so I think he probably ends up being the starter because of that amazing mentorship.
Was that actually a headline? I saw the headline. I couldn't tell if it was a joke. Like Deshaun is actually mentoring Shedeur.
I think
like,
it's legit. I saw it from enough places that it looked like it was legit. Which I mean, I don't know about that.
You never know. Although with like I believe it's a legit headline. You never know like actually how legit and it could just be like save facing for all I know. Like similarly to how like Aaron Rodgers is supposedly mentoring Will Howard. Like, is he really actually taking him under his wing, or is it just like a PR move? You never know, but that is kind of funny. Regardless.
I mean, it's not a good PR move considering what Deshaun Watson is to the media. So,
wouldn't it be trying to make Deshaun look better? Is kind of my argument that like, oh, I'm gonna be a good teammate now, so I'm gonna mentor Shedeur.
Oh, if that's what they're trying to do, no one is buying it. I hope that's not what they're trying. I see what you mean though.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, so Browns at number 31. At number 30, I think another team that we both agree sucks. They've sucked for a while. We actually kind of predicted them collectively to have the number one overall pick, which is the New York Jets.
The only surprise about the Jets is that they're this high in the rankings. Highest they're going to be all year, by the way.
Right. Yeah, the New York Jets, not really a lot of nice things I can say about them. Again, they have a lot of talented individual players. And I think you're going to realize with a lot of these bad teams, like they have good players. Like the Saints have good players. The Browns have like, Myles Garrett, the Jets. So like, I don't want to hear any, oh, you have the Jets so low. They have Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall. Like, they just suck.
You guys, this is the NFL. Everybody has at least one or two really good players because they're all professionals. That's just kind of how it works. Somebody's got to do the punching bag, though. And these three teams so far, they are definitely going to be taking some punches this season.
Yes, Justin Fields is their quarterback. I don't really see that going well. I don't really think he has some great offensive line. And, like, obviously, you went 5-12 last year with Aaron Rodgers, who I think actually played better than he was given credit for. It's just that he was on the Jets. So they have that sort of effect. I think that's pretty reasonable. I mean, you never know. Like one of these teams in the bottom five is going to surprise us and be really good. You can just see it. But
I feel like these three are just the indisputable worst three in the league, though, and we shouldn't expect a surprise from any of them.
Yes. Well, I am glad that we can sort of agree there. All right. At number 28, I have
you mean 29?
Another team. Oh, 29? 29, yes.
Make sure you give me the right team here.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely correct. Yeah, it is number 29. So we have Saints at 32, Browns at 31, Jets at 30. At number 29, I have the New York Football Giants. I think again, like I just don't think they're going to be very good. I think I'm under Brian Daboll's sort of like leadership. They haven't really been that great besides that 1 year. They have Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart, and we'll see if like Jackson Dart can kind of amount to anything. But I think as long as Russell Wilson's starting games, they're not going to be very good. They do have Malik Neighbors, and from what I hear, they do have a pretty good defensive line. I mean, they have Thibodeau, they have Abdul Carter, and they have what's his name? Oh, I mean Abdul
Brian
Carter.
Burns.
They do have Brian Burns. That's true. So theoretically, they have a good like kind of assembly of players, but outside of the league neighbors, I'm not sure I love their like skill position sort of group,
No,
and
no.
I just think like they have a lot of men on the board, not the greatest coaching, not the greatest ownership. Obviously, the ownership and coaching, well, not really ownership necessarily, but like the Giants are, infamous for how they handled the Saquon Barkley situation, and now they are, they get to face him twice a year. So I just think it's again like a pretty dysfunctional organization. The Giants are, and yeah.
Yeah, the Giants are probably in for a rough season. I do think they probably will be better this year than they were last year, which, I mean, just upgrading a quarterback because almost anyone's an upgrade from Daniel Jones. But they'll probably be better, but I just don't know how much it's going to show in their win-loss record because they're still going to lose most of their games. They've got a really tough schedule. We were looking through that when we did our predicting every single game stream a while back. They had a really tough. So it wouldn't be a surprise if they go like 2-15, but they're a good 2-15 team, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And I think they do have a lot of talent, and I think they have potential next year to be good. Especially if they fire Dabble and like get some like coach that can really placate to Jackson Dart's strengths, and Abdul Carter will be a year older. They'll have a little bit more cohesion theoretically. I don't know like who's necessarily free agents or anything like that. I mean, obviously like Malik Neighbors is here to stay, like Abdul Carter, but like I think they have potential to be good, in the future, just not in 2025. But
right now they're just bad. Bottom 4 in the league.
They are just a bad team.
You can debate where exactly they belong, but right here we got them at 29, or you got them at 29.
Yes. I have them at 29. It sounds like you kind of agree, for the most part with like the rough placements. Maybe you'd like move some teams like one spot or another, but so far nothing.
I'll go open my rankings real quick because I don't even remember. So I had the Giants at 28. So yeah, it's and our bottom 3 were the same. Saints at 32, Browns at. Oh wait, no, I had the Browns above the Jets. So we swapped those two, but yeah, It's mostly the same so far. Just one team. We're about to find out if our bottom 5 have the same 5 teams or not. So
okay, well, right ahead. Rounding out the bottom 5, this is a team that I could totally see outperforming their placement that I'm putting them, because they do have theoretically they have a young, talented, worthy quarterback, and but I don't think they have a lot going for them elsewhere, and that's the Tennessee Titans.
Okay,
and I say that they could overperform because, like, if Cam Ward plays like an offensive rookie of the year, they're going to win 8 or 9 games. But, like, honestly, outside of Cam Ward, I can't really name very many.
What do they have on offense, right?
They have who's their running back? Spears,
Tony
right?
Pollard and Tyjae Spears are the
they have Tony Pollard? They still have Tony Pollard? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
That is right. Yeah, but I mean, I feel like in 2025, having Tony Pollard is not really some badge of honor.
No, it's not.
Do they still have Treylon Burks?
I think so. I mean, he's not done anything.
Nikki West.
I think he may have left.
Did he?
They got Calvin Ridley, and they got a couple guys they drafted, like Xavier Restrepo in the slot, and I think he might have been undrafted actually, but Alik Ayamaner from Stanford. So. No household names yet.
Yeah. Were the Titans in your bottom 5, or did you have a different team?
I had it was Saints, Jets, Browns. I had the Colts at 29. I have the Titans at 27. So I had the Colts as the worst in the AFC South. I believe in the Titans a little more than the Colts. So
yeah, Colts I kind of moved around a little bit. We'll get to them. Obviously still on the list. Probably not for much longer, but they're still remaining.
I mean, look, call me crazy, but I think the Titans quarterback situation is better than the Colts. I think Cam Ward is better than what the Colts have.
I'm
not even a big Cam Ward guy. That's just how down I am on Indy.
I would definitely rather have Cam Ward over who I think is better, that being Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson. But anyway, we will get to the Colts when we talk about them. At number 27, so the 6th worst team in the NFL. Oh, but they made a splash trade recently. They should be better. I don't really think so. Miami Dolphins at number 27.
Miami at 27, nice. I have them at 25, so we're still, like, close. It's pretty close.
So, and you're starting to get to these teams where it's like, oh, but they have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and like Tua, and now they have Jalen Ramsey, but and Jonnu Smith, right? But I just don't think. I think just kind of like I think they had their seasons of like being like okay, mediocre, pretty good in the regular season, and just crumbling in the playoffs. And I think that's gonna kind of come to a screeching halt. And like they're gonna have a rough year. There's kind of drama around like Tyreek Hill and like now you have like Jalen Ramsey, which like I mean, I hate to make it spin it like it's a bad thing, but I wouldn't. Wait, no, Jalen Ramsey got traded to the
Yeah, I was about to
Pittsburgh, right?
say.
Why do I always get those trade terms confused? No.
Oh man.
So they traded away.
They
So they
traded away.
traded.
They traded Jonnu and they traded Ramsey, but they got Minka Fitzpatrick.
So they got Minka Fitzpatrick. Okay.
Yeah.
I meant Minka. I meant Minka. My bad.
Yeah, you're
Whenever I
good,
said
you're
Jalen Ramsey, yeah. I don't know why. I always get this. Like I was talking in Discord earlier. I was like, oh yeah, I think Miami won because they got the 2 players, and that's not the case, right? They only got 1.
No, they only got 1. They got the best
Yeah.
player in that trade, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it goes. But for some reason, my brain cannot comprehend like which players came from which teams. I think it's also confusing that Minka Fitzpatrick was drafted by the Dolphins, and it's kind of like a coming home for him, I guess.
He must be so happy about it.
Interesting. But anyway, yes, the Dolphins got Minka Fitzpatrick, which probably would have taken them from like 28 to 27. Woohoo! You moved up 1 ranking spot. Actually, not necessarily. I don't think it changed. But anyway,
Yeah,
I have the
Titans.
Titans. I have the Dolphins as the 6th worst team. I just don't think they're going to be very good. I just think there's like a lot of drama around the organization. They're not really all that.
The best case scenario is that the offense starts heating up again with Tua being healthy and Tyreek bouncing back and Waddle bouncing back. So everyone bouncing back basically on offense. And then you're still going to lose a lot of games because you don't have much of a secondary. Like, yes, you got Minka Fitzpatrick. That's fantastic. Probably one of the best safeties in the game still. But, I mean, you can look up their cornerbacks. I know you did earlier. Like, they don't have anyone at corner. Teams are going to be throwing all over their secondary, just aiming away from Minka, but they're still going to be able to throw, which is also going to make it easier for them to run, probably. So opposing offenses are going to be able to move the ball in Miami. The only hope they really have is being able to score enough to keep up, and I don't really believe in that.
Yeah, I mean, Vic Fangio was he's one of the best defensive coordinators in the world, and like he kind of like he was in Miami for a year and was just kind of like, ew, this is stupid, and just kind of left. And just like and yeah, you were referencing the corners. Like they have a starting corner in their depth chart named Storm Duck. Storm Duck, in case you do not know, he was an undrafted free agent. He went to he was from Louisville, so he was on the last roster last year. He played 14 games, so I guess he got the reps. So like I guess that's kind of why he's like listed as a starter. But Storm Duck, a household name to watch.
I mean, I don't care, dude. That is an awesome name. I'm rooting for Storm Duck. I hope that he's
And I actually
amazing.
looked it up. Storm is actually his name. It's not like some nickname or anything like that. His full name is Storm Chandler Duck. That is a killer name. Yeah. Top
amazing.
Like, I don't know, like top 5 name in the NFL. Definitely like top 10, 20, something like that. Maybe we dig the depth charts. They're like sticker names, but just that would be a fun.
He's not
on
the
idea.
all-name team just yet, but he's on the brink.
That is a fun video idea, though. Just like scouring the depth chart, looking for the best names in the league.
Absolutely.
Storm Duck would definitely be a candidate. Okay. All right.
26.
At number 26, I have a team that we referenced earlier to where, again, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have any. That is the Indianapolis Colts. I just think they're in it for a rough one. They're relatively high, compared to the other bottom feeder teams because I think they have Shane Steichen where I think, they could still be kind of good under him. But again, you have 2 quarterbacks. Your offense isn't really outside of like Jonathan Taylor and maybe Michael Pittman. They have someone else at receiver, right? Is it
Josh Downs?
Yes, that is who I'm thinking of. So they do have like players, but like
it reminds me of the Packers receiver room last year, if you know what I mean. Like they got several guys who are wide receiver 2 caliber right now, but no clear wide receiver 1.
Right. That is the case. But I think really it just comes down to the quarterback situation for them, and the Colts are just struggling in that realm. I mean, Anthony Richardson is like but the most inaccurate quarterback in the league. It's just like really
and having the offensive line used to be a strength of theirs, and I like bringing this up every time we talk about them, but their offensive line took a bit of a hit this offseason. I think they lost 2 starters, I want to say. So that's
Yeah,
not a good sign when you're trying to get Anthony Richardson out there, or if you have Daniel Jones out there, he's going to constantly be scrambling, you would think. I don't think it's going to look any
right.
different than his time in New York. So the hope for
Mm,
Indy, I guess, if they're going to be competitive, is lean on Jonathan Taylor in the run game and then short passing game as well with Pittman and Downs. And then hope the defense doesn't sell every game as well. But I don't believe in that defense either. So it looks rough. I mean, I got Indy as the worst in that division. So you don't. You got them above Tennessee, but they got the worst quarterback situation. Aside from Jonathan Taylor, I just don't love their weapons. Again, the offensive line is not good anymore. The defense, I'm just not sure about. Maybe they're okay, but it's not like they're gonna be the worst in the league, probably. But yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
Wait, what
Yeah.
is that
So
number
that's
one tag in the chat? That's cool.
what is the number one tag?
It's top fans. How does that
Oh,
work? That's cool.
wait, I didn't even realize that. Huh?
I see it
Oh,
in an OBS. It says top fans.
oh, okay. I mean, talk about super fans, those who want to compete. Maybe the two former contenders for super fans. Maybe it's just none of them. Maybe it's just Sudoku, and
Look
he's
at
like not
that.
even. He's the most humble super fan we have.
That's so cool, dude.
Also, I was ha-ha-haing at the Colts. I wasn't ha-haing at your like number one tag. I think that was like right after. So just don't
Nice.
take that the wrong way, Sudoku. I'm not making fun of your fandom. Although if you're like, if you're huge, like if you're like stands of us, I might, it might be worthy to make fun. But regardless. So you all think Anarumo is cooked? Anarumo?
I forgot he's the DC at Indianapolis now.
Oh.
Yeah, I honestly don't care about
I
that.
think
I
I think
mean,
that actually kind of makes it look worse because he was the Bengals DC last year, and obviously we know how that went. So I don't know.
I'm guessing that
And this
doesn't
is
work out. I don't know.
right. This is the last in our tier, right?
Yeah, Indy is the last in the bottom tier, so now we move up to a 19 through 25, starting at
Yes, but I
25.
do want to ask you a question, just a fun like thought exercise. Out of these 7 teams, which one do you think is most likely to have the surprise, shocking, Commanders Texans type breakout year and
Oh,
like make the
Tennessee.
playoff?
Definitely
Tennessee?
Tennessee because they got the number one overall pick. So, I mean, there's at least it wouldn't be unreasonable to expect the number one overall pick to play like a number one overall pick and elevate that team. I'm not predicting it because I'm just not a big Cam Ward guy right now. I don't think he's going to have the
Yeah.
Stroud slash Jaden Daniels effect in year one. But if it's going to be any of these teams, like Tennessee's the one you build an argument for. I also think their defense was underrated last year, so I could see it.
Yeah, I probably agree. I'm also kind of afraid of being wrong on the Dolphins, and they're just a solid team again, and they like make the playoffs at like 9 or 10 wins.
Yeah.
It is tough. Like if I had to like bet on one team to like take me to the playoffs, like see, I do like the idea of believing in Tennessee, but I might just gamble on the Dolphins just
Mhm.
because like they're more proven. But I do see your point. I think definitely the Titans have like more like you
The
know
heck?
like
My
division
computer's
winning
being weird. Where
upsides
did?
than like the Dolphins do in their
Hold on, I
division. I
just
mean,
lost
obviously,
everything. Hang on. What
what
the heck?
what happened?
Uh, Everything just closed on my laptop.
That's not ideal.